Oh, hey guys. Uh, they say all the people criticize Clarksburg ain't never really been outside West Virginia, and it shows. Um, I was just trying to figure out what that thing was in the bathroom. Uh, it looks like it's fresh water. I don't know, brush my teeth, get something to drink out of it. I don't know. I'm just sitting out here on the balcony of my hotel room in Venice, Italy. Facing the other direction. If the trees weren't in the way, you could see the Alps. I had no idea Venice was that close to the Alps. You learn things when you travel. There's a few things I learned, and I wanted to share them with you. First of all, kind of on a light note, growing up, my idea of Italians was shaped by Clarksburg people. Being here, being in the street and boats full of Italians speaking their language in their country, it's kind of been a healing process in some ways. Also, I learned there are no bar stools in Italy. It's not really a thing. People don't sit at the bar. I noticed that walking by restaurants, taverns. Not a single one of them, well, one had bar stools. That's it. Not even going to get into the fact that Venice doesn't really have cars. There's a little bit out here on the edge where there's a bus station and some parking garages, but the vast majority of Venice has no cars, no bicycles. And it's proof that it can be done, but I'll admit that Venice is a unique city. There's nowhere else like this in the world. And it's probably not feasible. It's not possible to have that in a modern economy anywhere else. Venice is one of those towns that reveals a person's attitude toward old buildings really quickly. There's so much fantastic architecture here. It would take a week to see it all. I don't even know you'd get through it in a week. But if you're the kind of person that thinks if old buildings aren't kept in tip-top shape, if they're not a landmark, they need to be torn down for something new, then you're likely to call Venice a poop hole. I've heard people say that. I've heard people say, well, the Cathedral of San Marco is kind of nice, but other than that, it's just a place is a dump. There's a lot of buildings here that, to say the least, they could use a pressure washing, fresh coat of paint. The city of Venice is sinking. Sinks an inch or two every 100 years, maybe more than that. And the reason is the factories and things around the lagoon have started pumping water out, groundwater out, and it's caused land subsidence. And so when you walk through the town, you see buildings that are leaning, buildings that are bulging, in addition to deteriorating brick and broken plaster. If it's really tall church bell tower, maybe they'll brace it up and have some counterweights, but for the most part, they just leave it like that. People still live in these buildings. And I got to thinking just how much that shows the American approach to building safety, fire codes, things like that. It's kind of a scam. I'm not saying it's never valid, because I saw a demo lot here. Sometimes buildings have to be torn down, but there's been a lot of money in demolition. And in years past, rebuilding things or building things out on the periphery and tearing the cities down. There's banks, there's politicians, everyone just kind of wants that, and it's really not necessary. It's the excuse that they have to keep that kind of a scam going. Also got to thinking about how much Americans think, obsessed about cleaning up a town in order to make it attractive. No one will want to move here unless every building's painted, every sidewalk's perfect. You're here in Venice, sometimes you see a building that's boarded up, and then right next to it, you'll be building a jewelry store. Or you'll see a building, the first 2 floors look empty, and then up above, you look up, man, there's really nice condos up there. Where you're walking, the building doesn't look very nice, and you peek in a gate, and there's a really nice courtyard. Something I've learned about Europe is they care more about the inside of a house. The outside of a house can look not very good, but the insides are very nice. And it's just completely backwards from the way Americans think. I'll close with this. I went out to the island of Murano a couple days ago. World famous for glass making. They still do a lot of hand-blown glass there, really expensive pieces. But some of those glass factories have closed down. I've noticed at least 2 that have been repurposed. Some of the shops have remade into houses. some of the larger structures into public uses like farms or concert venues or what have you. And I just got to hurting for Clarksburg a little bit. It could be so much if people would just have a little imagination and get out of thinking that they have to tear everything down. And I know Venice is not Clarksburg, and Clarksburg is not Venice. But if you keep destroying things, Clarksburg's not really going to be Clarksburg either. I'll holler at you later.